Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are going to be going over Week 6 trade targets, as well as guys that you're going to want to be trading away from your team before Week number 6. Now, this week, we're actually a bit lucky. There's no Thursday night football, which kind of sucks in reality, but you're not going to have to try to force a move in before Thursday if that player plays on Thursday, so that could be an advantage to you. So before we get into the video, obviously in this video, again, we're going to be talking about trade targets as well as guys to be trading away before Week number 6 of the 2020 fantasy football season. Real quick, I'd like to introduce Tyler here. Tyler, you can say anything you want before we get into it.
Anything I want? Wow, that opens up a whole can of worms here. The Dolphins don't. We were initially scheduled to be the first team ever in NFL history to get 3 straight bye weeks. Before the schedule got messed up, that eventually changed. Now the schedule's all rearranged, and we don't get Jets by Jets like we were all excited for. Now we'll get the Jets this week apparently, or maybe we get our bye week this week because it's not like the Jets can contain anything. They probably can't contain COVID. Big wrecked. Let's jump into the video. I'm not trading for any Jets players. I'll go ahead and tell you that right off the bat, right off the rip.
Right off the ripski. So let's get into it. So real quick, as you guys are watching this, Le'Veon Bell may actually be on a team. This video is probably going out at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We're recording this at 11 p.m. the night before. So if Le'Veon Bell is on a team and he completely screws over one of these guys, just so you know, we had no idea that was going to happen. I really have no idea where he's going to go, and I'm not even going to make a prediction because if I say one team, he'll probably end up going to a completely different one. So I will go first here. We're to first discuss our trade fours. My first trade for player is running back Clyde Edwards-Hilaire of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire has not looked very good at all aside from the first game up against the Houston Texans. Now, I'm not saying that he's playing like shit, but he hasn't been playing up to the first round draft capital that you drafted him for. Now, hopefully someone in your league, obviously, they drafted him because you don't have him in this scenario, and they're probably a bit pissed off because they're like, you know what, I drafted him maybe top 5. I was feeling really high on Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, and he just has not performed. Last week up against the Vegas Raiders, he had only 10 rushes for 40 rushing yards, 3 receptions on 8 targets, 40 receiving yards, 11 PPR points, and 9.5 half PPR points. So that's nothing to go home and call your mom about. Be like, Mom, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire got me 9 points. She's not going to be very happy, and you're not very happy at all with it either if you're the guy who has Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. So I think right now, snagging Clyde Edwards-Hilaire at this very cheap price is probably the cheapest you can get him, considering he's been not so hot the last couple of games besides week number 1. So I think now is prime time to get Clyde Edwards-Hilaire before it is a little too late. Tyler, what do you think about Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, even though I know you don't really like him?
Hi, I hate this man. If you don't know me, you're not going to know that I hate this man. Well, here is my little spiel. I do not think this guy is a very, very competent runner. I think if this team had Damian Williams, the running game would be pretty electric because they could just rely on his receiving abilities. I think Clyde Edwards-Hilaire has always been a really solid receiver, but I've never really loved his running abilities, his efficiencies on the ground. They haven't really been spectacular. And like you said, Nick, since week 1 against a Houston team who, surprise, everyone can run against, he really hasn't had too many great games. He's got Buffalo next week. I think this is a guy, if you do want to trade for him, you have about a week and a half. I mean, because Buffalo comes up this week. Those two are going to play each other. That's actually going to help you because I really don't see another great matchup coming up for him. He's going to have another down week, but with the receiving abilities, I have to say, yes, he's a pretty good trade for. Just know you have a little bit more time than maybe you have with some of these other guys because that Buffalo week is going to be tough.
No, I actually think the Buffalo week's going to be easy considering all the other running backs have done good against them and their passing attacks haven't been as good. But with that said, Clyde Edwards-Hilaire very kind of dependent with Sammy Watkins actually missing a bunch of games. That also helps out Clyde Edwards-Hilaire a lot. So I think he's going to be fine. So Tyler, who's your first trade for guy here for the video?
I think Derrick Henry is just a different specimen. That man's a beauty.
That's true. I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that game happened a little after we started recording. Before, I'm an idiot. Nice job, Tyler. Hi. My trade for is going to be Myles Gaskins.
Carol Gaskin.
Yeah. So we get gets the Jets this week. I don't really know how high I think some people think of him right now. Maybe they're like, okay, he's kind of sporadic. I mean, he gets me points, but like it's not points that I'm consistently loving. I think he has a really, really good down the stretch schedule. He's got the Jets this week. He has the bye next week, which I hate. Annoying. But anyways, then he's got Rams, Cardinals. He's got Chargers who you have to beat on the ground. Denver who you can beat on the ground. Jets, Cincinnati. I mean, it's a gorgeous trail all the way up to the playoffs for your team. And then Kansas City, New England, and Las Vegas in the playoffs. I mean, those are pretty decent matchups, and he really hasn't been like disappearing act when he faces bad matchups. So honestly, don't even mind it. He put up 10 against New England in week one. That's week one where they were still giving a lot of touches to both Burita and Howard. I think they're consistently saying, okay, this guy's our guy. We're going to roll with him. I don't blame them. This is a guy I think you need to get on your team. He may have a little higher price tag, but I still think there's that confidence in the owner currently who picked him off of waivers. The same as with James Robinson, where guys are like, yeah, I picked him off of waivers, though. He doesn't really matter to me. I think you got to really dig into that, pay up for him. I think he's going to be good for you.
I agree. I love Carol Gaskin, Miles Gaskin. Now, before you actually trade for any of these running backs, I would actually wait until Le'Veon Bell does get signed, because then if he goes to the Dolphins, or Miles Sanders trade, or not Miles Sanders, I should say Miles Gaskin trade is completely irrelevant. Now, Tyler on the show, she actually spelled Miles Gaskin wrong because he's a dumbass and a fake Dolphins fan, so that's good. But Miles Gaskin is very good.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Very good the last couple of weeks. And I think that Miles Gaskin is going to continue to get a lot of receiving work with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And if they're down in games, which last week they just blew the back out of the 49ers, they absolutely dismantled the team that was in the Super Bowl last year. So that's good for Dolphins fans and very good for Miles Gaskin. So I think he's going to be getting a whole lot of touches going forward. And up against the Jets, I expect an absolute ass ramming of Adam Gase and friends in New York. So do you got anything else to add on Miles Gaskin, or can we get to the next guy?
Yeah, apparently Miles is spelled with a Y, but also with an I. I was just trying to channel in his inner Miles Sanders. The last thing I'll kind of touch on is the receiving work has really been there. I mean, we're expecting Burita to kind of take over that aspect. No, Miles Gaskin's consistently seen 5+ targets on average. I mean, this is fantastic. He's catching a lot of them. Obviously, running backs will catch their targets. It's a lot easier for them to. Because it's just kind of dump off. So that's been a very high value. We haven't seen him score. The first time we saw him score was this week. We haven't seen him score in the rushing or receiving attack since, this is the only time so far. I really think we could see a rise in that as well. So yeah, went long. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I like Miles Gaskin as well. So my next guy here is quarterback Joshua Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Josh Allen was on an MVP tear the last couple of weeks. And then this week up against the Tennessee Titans, he really faltered. Now, that first pick of the game, not his fault at all. Hits with the wide receiver right in the fucking gloves, and it falls off. It bounces backwards. The guy picks it off. That shit like that's going to happen. But Josh Allen has a down week. The Bills get dismantled in this game like the establishment in SpongeBob. So I am a bit worried, or people might be a bit worried about Josh Allen. Personally, I am not. I think Josh Allen is very good, but buying a guy off of one down week is what you are ideally trying to do. You're trying to buy him at his lowest point, because next week when he goes absolutely ham-bony, you're not going to be able to get him for the same exact price. So week 5 up against the Titans, 2 tutties, 2 INTs, 263 passing yards, 4 rushes for 18 rushing yards, and 16.32 4-point per passing touchdown points. So obviously not what you come to expect of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was that guy the last couple of weeks who was potentially the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football. You just felt really confident about him. I felt confident about him going into this game, and obviously he disappointed. But with that said, I expect this guy to return back to form how he was playing from the first 4 weeks of the season. And I think that there's really no way that he continues on a train of playing bad like this, considering how good he has looked thus far this season and how good the Buffalo weapons are. I mean, even though I don't like Devin Singletary really at all, he's still useful for this offense. They got Stephon Diggs. They have John Brown. John Brown did like nothing in this game. Gabriel Davis, this random ass rookie who's really good. So they have a lot of weapons over there in Buffalo. And speaking of weapons in Buffalo, shout out to OJ Simpson, if you know what I'm saying. So get into what do you think about Josh Allen?
Well, number 1, I think the court said OJ was innocent, so you need to relax there. Number 2,
I think the glove doesn't fit for that one.
Yeah, the glove doesn't fit. You put injection in your hands. Good job. I think the fact that Stephon Diggs put up 20 points in this this matchup where they just got pummeled is remarkable. But yeah, please go trade for Josh Allen, because he's still going to have a pretty easy schedule down the line. He's a good quarterback. He's just going to give you points. He has that rushing ability. Like, I don't know why people weren't seeing him as like a top 5 option coming in. I think in Dynasty, people were seeing that, but they weren't seeing it in redrafts. Has he proved it to you yet? Is he good enough for you yet? Go get Josh Allen here, coming off a bad week.
You like that?
Yeah.
All
so, I'll bounce to my guy. You may have seen the floor of this guy now that him and Burrow have built that established trust. And if you think AJ Green's coming out of my mouth more than it just did that one time, it's not. It's Tyler Boyd, baby. Listen, this was a terrible situation. I was saying it in the live stream. Someone had pointed it out that there was bad weather coming to this game. I realized that, oh, yes, there is. The remains of Hurricane Delta went up Louisiana and across the state, did a little right turn. I'm an idiot. Little loop-de-loop. Didn't hit Florida, though. Thanks. Yeah, no, the weather had a little bit of an effect. Joe Burrow really doesn't play under those circumstances. We didn't really see it in college. Surprise, at Louisiana, he really didn't face all that many weather inclements that would have caused problems like this. This was an issue. They really couldn't establish their game. This is a game with a more experienced veteran team. The team that's more gelled together is going to win the game. And yeah, it was a pretty big blowout. This may be the bottom floor of Tyler Boyd here, though. Only had 8.2 points. Fantasy-wise, he still had 6 targets, so he's still cooking with the targets. It's not the 12 that he saw against Philly, but it's still very much manageable. He only caught 4. You dropped 2, and the yards were down and no touchdown. This man has had 1 touchdown in 5 weeks. I see that going up. Him and T. Higgins are 2 guys I'm definitely looking at trying to grab. This was just an off week for Cincinnati. I think they get right back on track next week against Indianapolis. Yeah, that's a good team. They got a good rushing attack. Joe Mixon Stokes, please stop hurting me. You're going to hurt me again next week. I already know. But yeah, Tyler Boyd could really be a beneficiary of a slightly banged up cornerback group for your Indianapolis Colts. Bam. But he's about to go off. Go trade for him quick.
Quick, like Lightning McQueen. I actually liked Tyler Boyd, but I am a bit worried about the fact that AJ Green was sitting on the sidelines telling the team to trade him, because if they get rid of him on a points per game basis, Tyler Boyd averages more points with Green due to the fact that he doesn't have to play against the best corner for Tyler Boyd, obviously, in his sake. But I do think Tyler Boyd, regardless, will be fine. This doesn't mean that if AJ Green leaves, he's going to be in the shitter playing awful. He'll still play fine. And I like him with Joe Burrow a lot more than I did with the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton. So I think Tyler Boyd's definitely in for a bounce back week this week and in for a very good season, considering he's been very productive thus far this year. Do you have anything to add on Tyler Boyd here?
You wish. Get out of here.
I do wish. Next guy here on my list is Raheem the Dream Mostert, running back of the San Francisco 49ers. Now, week 5, he went up against the Miami Dolphins, and he got bent over and fucked repeatedly. But at the end of the day, he still played quite well. 11 rushes for 90 rushing yards, 3 receptions on 3 for targets, so 3 for 3 like a free throw, unless you're Shaq. In that case, it's just 2 points. And then 29 receiving yards, 14.9 PPR points, and 13.4 half PPR points. So Raheem played quite well up against the Dolphins. It seems like that is his backfield when he's healthy. He's going to be the guy getting a majority of the touches as well as a majority of the dump offs. Now, I know the 49ers do use all backs, so don't think that Raheem Mostert is just going to see 20 fucking rushes and the other guys won't see anything, or he can't get vultured or something, because he could entirely get vultured by Jeff Wilson, Jerick McKinnon, or even the fullback there in Juice Jack. But at the end of the day, I think Raheem Mostert is clearly the alpha guy there, unless Le'Veon Bell was to get moved there. So I think I would trade for Raheem Mostert right now. After a not so great game up against the Miami Dolphins, I expect a bounce back week, at least this week up against the Rams.
Listen, it's got to be expected. You go against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's best of luck. You know what I mean? Chalk it up as an L right from the start. I mean, this is the best team in the league, the best 2-3 team in the league, the best 13-3 team in the league when we get there.
Exactly.
This team's incredible. I mean, it's a gift to watch every single week where I get to see this team. They're fantastic. Yeah, Raheem Mostert, I'm sorry. It's not on you. I think you're a nice guy, right? You're just facing the best team in the league. So you know what? He'll get back on track. The Rams, New England, Seattle. So a few tough matchups. I think Seattle's actually kind of a nice matchup. The Rams could be too. New England's sandwiched in between them. It's a pretty decent schedule. I look down the line. It's kind of nice. Playoff weeks. It's Washington, Dallas, Arizona.
Plus, if they don't have, what's his name? If they don't have Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo's ankle looked awful. Like, he was clearly playing wrong. He wasn't stepping in anything. So if Sexy Jimmy's not there, then maybe they're trying to run the ball a lot more when Big Dick Beathard's playing. So I like Raheem Mostert a lot.
Nick Mullins is an absolute beauty and a gift to America. I completely stand with you here. I think Raheem Mostert is a fantastic pickup.
All right, so who is your final guy to be trading for this week?
My final guy, I do like to do this. I want, when I do this, to make sure I give you guys a couple redraft options, and I like to throw a little dynasty option here at the back end.
Dynasty.
Dynasty. It's a dynasty, baby. Raiders Nation. Greatest team.
Raiders.
Right after the Dolphins, the Raiders are the best team in the league.
That's true.
That's my dog's favorite team. Yeah, that's just what it is. Justin Jefferson. Hi, here's your dynasty option. I think he had a interesting week against a team that has. It's weird. They have banged up corners and slightly banged up secondary, but it like almost doesn't matter. Like it's quite confusing. Seattle, whatever. You guys do your thing. He's got Atlanta this week. Like, I mean, you may be running out of time to go get this man, and if you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to do it this week. Justin Jefferson, fantastic dynasty addition. I think he's real. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I thought he was going to be great with their team. I like Justin Jefferson. I did not think he was going to be good for your Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota.
But he has been. So good for him. This may be your dynasty chance. This is your window. It's opened. Go grab him before your fingers get caught in the window thingy, the shutter.
Windowsill. Shutter.
Windowsill. Yeah, baby. All right, Nick, go ahead.
All right. I think Justin Jefferson could be a good buy in redraft, too. I mean, he played really good 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks in a row, I should say. And then last week just completely shit the bed straight in your lineup once you finally felt confident to start him. And he screwed you over a little bit there. But I think Justin Jefferson's in for bounce back games here. I mean, the thing with the Minnesota Vikings is, though, that Kirk Cousins, he just doesn't look all that good. He looked fine up against the Seahawks, but they ended up choking this game. But maybe Justin Jefferson and the passing offense will get more use now that Dalvin Cook is likely going to be missing the next couple of games. So I like Justin Jefferson for sure. Now we are into the trade away section of the video, the Michael Jordan trade away. So if you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit it with the 1-2 Mayweather KO style here. We're going to need that to hit 9,500 subscribers by the end of the week. And real quick, I got to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is the best way to play daily fantasy sports on the internet. They have this new thing that they introduced this year called the Matchup Shop, and you can play it tonight on Tuesday night. The Buffalo Bills going up against the Tennessee Titans. All you have to do, it's so simple. You pick a player versus another player in their fantasy matchup. Who scores more points head-to-head plus the spread? So who do you think scores more points? Stephon Diggs -1 point or Devin Singletary +1 fantasy point? It's that simple. It's basically fantasy football for dummies. It's so simple. I'm a dummy. I can do it. You guys are wicked smart, just like they say in that movie. Make sure you guys play. It's a very fun time. It's very simple, and you guys are going to be winning some big bucks today on Tuesday night. And we are back. Make sure you guys check that out, overlaydfs.com. Let's get right into it. So first, I'll go with my trade away guy. Number one guy here is Chase Claypool. Now I understand. Nick, why would you trade away a guy after he scores 4 touchdowns? That sounds stupid. Because Deontay Johnson got hurt in this game, right? Deontay Johnson, kind of a main piece in that offense, makes the defense hold his Johnson. But recently, the only one holding his Johnson is you when you start him, because he got hurt not once, but two times in a row. 2 times.
It was a 2-time.
No, 2-time. Like, I don't even know, but 2 times in a row, he's fucked you over. So now Chase Claypool's kind of emerging as the guy. He's a hot waiver wire option. Sure, I think he's fine to add to your team, but if you have him right now, sell this man at high as fuck, higher than Elon Musk, because he's never going to do that again. I highly doubt he's going to even score more than 1 touchdown in a majority of games. And I just don't think he's clearly the number 2 guy. When Deontay Johnson is healthy, he may even be the number 1 on the team ahead of Juju, considering he gets more targets than Juju. So with that said, Chase Claypool's a fine add in fantasy football. I just don't think I would want to kind of buy into Chase Claypool for the future. Looking right now, last week he was 7 for 11, like at 7-Eleven. You know, we can get a nice slushy there. 110 receiving yards, 3 tutties, 3 rushes, 6 rushing yards, 1 tutty in the rushing game. So not 1, not 2, not 3, but a 4 combined touchdowns, 42.6 PPR points, 39.1 half PPR points. And that is never going to happen again. That's the best game Chase Claypool will ever have in his fucking career, probably. Not saying that he's going to be all downhill from there, but when you score 4 touchdowns in a game, likely that's going to be your career best game. With that said, I think Chase Claypool is still a good talent, still a good guy for your fantasy team. But right now, the smartest option is to sell Chase Claypool high and get another option for your team. That is going to be much more useful. Then a guy you're probably going to be scared to start if Deontay Johnson is healthy. So what do you think about Mr. Double C Chase Claypool?
Bang, bang.
I prefer the double D's, though. Am I right?
Oh my God. Well, That's how you know these videos are completely right off the rip, no editing, because that's staying in there.
Exactly. Why would I edit it out?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, am I gonna drop $62 on a waiver for him? Yeah. Am I hating that decision? Maybe. That's my personal business. Get out of there. You're not me. Um, I think it all depends on Deontinus. I think if Deontinus decides he wants to play football and not be the worst player in history and just keep, hurting your lineups because I don't know, he's just like that. If he decides to be a man, step up, play some football, then yeah, Chase Claypool is irrelevant. But if he decides to be a little bitch and sit on the sideline, that's mean. He may actually be
pussy.
Yeah, no, it all depends on him. That's my point. So yeah, I think it's a monitor situation, but if you have him on your roster, please sell him.
Exactly. So next guy here is going to be, we're going to go with 2 guys in a row here for me, and then Tyler will go with 2 so that we can go a little bit faster here. I'm going with Brandon Cooks, wide receiver of now the Houston Texans. Now, Brandon Cooks, this guy sucked, absolute fat hog on your lineup for the first, Jesus Christ, for the first 4 games of the season. This guy was fucking atrocious. And then out of nowhere, this game up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the soft serve matchup. It's like at Dairy Queen when they flipped that shit over. It didn't come out. Brandon Cooks came out and balled the fuck out of control up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 8 receptions, 12 targets, 161 yards. Yes, you heard that correctly. 161, 1 total tug like he was at Robert Kraft's massage parlor. 30.1 PPR points and 26.1 half PPR points. So with that said, Brandon Cooks played phenomenal, but on a team like that, you just cannot feel confident on a weekly basis starting him. It's like with Will Fuller. You throw him in your lineup and you're praying to the fantasy lords up above that he somehow works out. That's the same shit you're doing with Brandon Cooks. This was a soft serve matchup, a very easy matchup. And in games where the Houston Texans aren't playing up against a defense that is a combined age of 25 years old on average, I believe they're the second youngest team in the NFL, very young defense. So I think that Brandon Cooks against a better defense is going to struggle as he has done the first 4 games of the season. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to sell Brandon Cooks for the farm or something, but I do think right now people are going to be looking to buy into him, considering Deshaun Watson's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, both based on most people's perception. So they're going to want to get a piece of that offense, especially if the offense looks better without B.O.B. Bill O'Brien. So what do you think about Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, number one, Bill O'Brien's firing is completely unjust. However, I do thank the Houston Texans for doing that because chances are if Adam Gase does get fired, they'll probably hire Bill O'Brien because that's just how things work there. Yeah. Number one, well, that was already number one. So number 2, a lot of people were bashing Brandon Cooks. They were saying, you know what, this guy's bad. No one started him this week, so settle down. No, I did. I started him after those 2 miserable weeks after he put up 0 points on a 94% snap share. What is that? Buddy's on the keep, what the whatever the kids use as the term for marijuana. That's what he was on last week, and today he got all the benefits from it. He went off. Me talking about that is it's a wash. But yeah, no, he went off. It's fantastic. We love Brandon Cooks. However, yes, you have to sell him because I'm crying at the fact that I even own him in leagues. But I will take this free win this week. Thank you, Brandon Cooks. You showed up for once. Good for you.
Exactly. I honestly thought he'd be better than Will Fuller this season, but that thought was just completely wrong. So, Tyler, while you're drinking your water, after you drink your water, who is your first trade away guy for the week?
Yeah, so I'm not really a big fan on trade low. It's kind of a waste of time. However, you do need to trade low this man just off of name value. What if I told you, this is like a 30 for 30. What if I told you that Zach Ertz was the tight end 20? What? Yes, that's actually in standard leagues. He's actually the tight end 20. It's absolutely
good.
Jokes. You're completely, if it's PPR, you have been leaning on those PPR points. He's got 1 touchdown. That was week 1. So good for you.
Congrats.
You abandoned the end zone for 4 straight weeks. Probably do it again against Baltimore this week. More to that, you're seeing a lot of targets. You're not catching a lot of balls. Let's look at last week where you had 6 targets. You only caught 1 ball. Get that up. You had week 1, 7 targets, 3 receptions. You got to catch the ball, number one. I mean, Carson Wentz obviously looks like a joke. I don't know how much of it is on Zach Ertz, or the fact that Carson Wentz can't get a ball thrown without his balls getting thrown to the ground. He's getting absolutely pummeled out there. It's a joke. the whole entire team is a joke. The whole idea of there's no target, Zach Ertz has to actually do stuff. Apparently not. So, yes, please trade Zach Ertz just for the sanity of yourself and for others. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. Zach Ertz has been completely fucking atrocious the last couple of weeks. And the problem is you have to start him. There's literally no way that you can start someone over him in your lineup, which just completely screws you over because mentally you just have to start Zach Ertz. But in reality, he's been complete and utter dick for your team. So get rid of Zach Ertz right now based off the name value. Find that dumbass in your league that just thinks Zach Ertz is still good because his wife is quite hot. Shout out to Julie Ertz. Soccer star.
Absolutely. I think we could spend a few minutes just talking about that. I mean, fantastic athletic woman, proud, good for what she's doing. U.S. women's team is apparently good. I mean, I don't watch soccer and I definitely wouldn't start there. But yeah, no, good for them. No, I just don't watch soccer. That's the point of the joke. So we'll jump to my next guy before it takes another right turn or left turn, however driving works. So my guy is James Robinson. This is my deep play of the year. And normally, what I'll try and do is drop a dynasty option, and then I'll drop a long-term option. He's got Detroit next week, and he's got the Chargers. The only way to beat the Chargers is to run the ball. He's got his bye, then he's got Houston. And right after that Houston week 9, I'm just saying back pocket this. Notice you got to probably move off him. After that week 9 against Houston, you're going to want to move off of this guy. I mean, I seriously believe that he's got one of the tougher playoff schedules that we've seen. This is kind of brutal. Week 13, he's got Minnesota, and that's kind of nice. But then right after that, your playoff schedule lineup, 14 is Tennessee, 15 is Baltimore, 16 is the Bears. So if you think you're a team, because listen, if you got James Robinson, you probably have been winning a lot of games. You got to feel happy with what he's put up, but you got to look more long-term. If you're ready to make your playoff run, trade this man for a guy who has an easier schedule, has been more legit consistently throughout the years, and move off this man. However, I do love him, and I do appreciate what he's done for my fantasy teams. Thank you, James, you beautiful, beautiful specimen of a man.
Yeah, the one thing that worries me most about James Robinson is that Le'Veon Bell may end up there and completely screw him over. And I think James Robinson will be fine, so I wouldn't call for him to be a trade-away option. I think he's kind of a guy that doesn't have all that much value right now. He doesn't have any name value, obviously, because no one has any fucking idea who James Robinson is until this year. But I think that he is a guy that I would try to keep, but I do understand your reasoning in trading him away. So my next two guys here, and then we're going to get to Tyler's final guy, but it's not a guy, it's multiple guys at the same time. Shout out to Tyler. So T.Y. Hilton is my first guy. Now, this guy is not a trade high. He's a trade low, get low, to the window, to the wall, to the sweat drip down my balls type deal here. T.Y. Hilton is absolutely fucking atrocious, right? This guy puts up one good game, right? You want to hear his career, or not his career high, his season high in yards? It's 69 up against the Cleveland Browns. 6 receptions, 10 targets, 69 yards. Again, very nice. 12.9 PPR points and 9.9 half PPR points. That's the best this man will do all season. So now you trade him. I guess this technically is a trade high because T.Y. Hilton will never sniff that amount of points. Again, he's like Adam Gase on the sideline. He's never to sniff that amount of points, and Adam Gase sniffs a lot of that booger sugar on a weekly basis. So T.Y. Hilton is very bad. Phillip Rivers looks fucking terrible.
No,
he looks like late in the game, this guy just goes full on, cannot throw the ball to anyone. So T.Y. Hilton is in a shitty situation. He looks like shit. So I would just get rid of him right now before it's a little bit too late and he ends up dropping like 4 points again and then no one even wants him. So what do you think about Mr. T.Y. Hilton?
I'm surprised he has value. If you're in a league with him, if you have a league and you have him, number one, you didn't listen to Nick or my or literally anyone's advice. So shame on you. But number two, you actually do have a chance to escape that personal hell right now. For anyone in your league that's a bigger clown than you are for drafting him. No offense. I love you guys. You guys are electric in the comments section. Who's that guy with the glasses? Why does he think he actually knows things? I appreciate you guys. You guys fuel me. But most importantly, I think this is the time to get rid of TY. If there was ever a time, if you can, comment down below. Honestly, comment down below. If you get rid of T.Y. Hilton, I want to know what the deal was because I feel like it's going to be really hard to pawn him off. But you know what? He is a guy you probably should be trading right now.
I completely agree. I forgot to unmute myself after
What a guy.
I sneezed there a little bit, but it's okay. So my final guy here to talk about, then we're going to go to Tyler's guy, who's also multiple guys. Like I said, Devonta Freeman, running back of now the New York Football Giants. Now up against the Dallas Cowboys, up against one of the worst defenses your eyes have ever seen. Devonta Freeman went to pound town on that Dallas ass. 17 rushes, 60 rushing yards, 1 rushing tutty, 2 receptions, 3 receiving yards, for 16.7 PPR points and 15.7 half PPR points. Now, I know you're saying, Nick, he went to town on that ass. He didn't even do that good. Well, that's the best Devonta Freeman will ever do. That offensive line is a certified turnstile in New York for both the Giants and the Jets. And Devonta Freeman just shows no promise at all for this season. So I would steer clear away from Devonta Freeman. He had one big game, and I expect that line to collapse up against any comparable defense. So just go ahead and get rid of Devonta Freeman. Sell him while he's had his one good fucking game. And sure, you may want to keep him because, right, he's a starting running back in the NFL, and that's kind of hard to find. But I'd rather honestly have someone that's more of an upside shot than a guy like Devonta Freeman, who I feel like on a weekly basis is probably going to get a lot of touches, but not do much with that due to how bad that line is. So what do you think about Mr. Freeman?
This is the Dallas Cowboys made Freeman look like a new man. Look like a new man. I mean, no one else could do this to Devonta Freeman except the Cowboys. So I commend them for making Devonta Freeman look like he was 23 again. So good for them. Good for your team. If you started him, honestly, I don't blame you for playing him at all. I think this was the only chance you could have gotten any value for him. But yes, if you have him, please move off of him. I highly recommend it. It's good for your soul. You probably hate yourself for spending waivers, fab on him. You probably hate yourself. So go ahead and save yourself now and get out of that situation.
I mean, at least you didn't spend 100 on Dion Lewis. Shout out to Danny. So final guy here, Tyler's guys, the LA Rams backfield. What do you got to say about that backfield?
Yeah. So let me just drop a few stats. Number one, you may be thinking, okay, well, Rel Henderson's the guy. Well, that's really cool. Look back to week 4 when he wasn't the guy, and apparently Malcolm Brown was. Oh, yeah, that's cool. You think Rel Henderson, that was just a one-off. How about you look back to week 1 where Malcolm Brown was the legit one in the backfield? Congratulations if you have both of them. I don't know why you would do that. That's kind of pain. For Rel Henderson, it's time to move off of him. I mean, if you really, really love one of your lead backs having a 40% snap share, that's on you. I don't. I think most people on the same planet don't. Same goes for Malcolm Brown. For him, you're just gonna have to wait until the next week. Probably next week, actually, when he decides to go off once again.
Cam Akers now back.
Yeah, Cam Akers is now back. So maybe you just say screw it. And if you got Cam Akers on your team, you just say that's okay. Maybe he'll decide to show up this week, and then you trade him. Because guess what? You're in a situation where you do not want to start any of them, and you're sure as hell not guessing which one to start. It's a situation that you don't really want to mess with. Hop out, please. Hop out of the Rams situation. It's an absolute mess.
Yeah, Akers is the only one I like because you could have picked him up this week and you could just lay him on your bench for literally nothing. That's the only reason why I like him, because if one of these guys ends up getting hurt, then one of them will end up balling out, right? But it's still undecided on a weekly basis because, like you said, it's been Malcolm Brown. It's been Rel Henderson. It hasn't even been the Cam Akers week yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if Akers played well this week. So it's kind of like the Ravens backfield, kind of like the Detroit backfield, where it's just 3 guys there and you have no fucking clue which one to start on a weekly basis. And then you fire one out because you think, hey, you know what, Rel Henderson's likely your best guess. Just like when Baltimore, when you're like, you know what, I think that Mark Ingram's your best bet on the week. And then in reality, it's never them. It's some random ass motherfucker on the team. It's the 5th string running back who you had no idea what his name even is, ends up playing well. So I would just stay clear away from all those backfields that we discussed, especially the Rams backfield. Make sure to get rid of those guys. So Tyler, do you have anything to say before we get out of here?
I do have something to say because something just popped up and I'm not very happy about it. All right. Let's see. At GR, so Grunk, so GRUNK3H. His name is Grant on Twitter. He has just decided that every time I make a tweet that's relevant to San Diego or anything that's going on, yeah, I'm going to say San Diego because there's no fans in LA for the Chargers, that you're just going to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and tweet out this video that I made a comment on Justin Herbert all the way back in April. I don't need that, okay? Congratulations. Wow, you found a clip of me being wrong. Unlike Mason Dodd over at Fantasy Flock, who just deletes his wrongness. I'm not going to do that here. Nick's not going to do that here. We're coming for every head. Listen to me. Stop coming after me with that clip. I've admitted multiple times that Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He just is. Actually, most people in the industry are pretty wrong about Justin Herbert. If they have video evidence, they probably have pulled it. That's not what we do here. We're big dog males. You can go back to week 1 trade targets, and I probably said go trade Josh Jacobs or something crazy like that. Things just happen. Things change. I'm sorry, Chargers fans that are in San Diego that aren't in LA because you have a team that doesn't want you. I want you. Maybe follow me or something. Let's build a personality here and stop being a bitch. Thank you, Grant.
Dude, he just retweeted me too.
he's just going out here retweeting people. He thinks he's a legend. You know what? Whatever. You know, if you want to pat your back, you know, for always going to be coming in 3rd place in this division, because let's be honest, the Raiders are better than you. So are the Chiefs. You're a 3rd place team, and they don't even want to be in your city anymore. I'm shocked there's even San Diego fans even in existence. Grant, you're an absolute joke, an absolute clown. You're also a San Jose Sharks fan. How does it feel to finish with one of the worst records in the NHL and not even have your 1st-round pick? Grant, get the hell out of here. Good night, folks.
All right, Horsecock Herbert is good, though. I will admit it. I agree, too. I think he's very good. So I haven't said anything bad about him since the draft when I just didn't think he'd be amazing. So that's really all we said about him. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think about Horsecock Herbert down below in the comments. How are you feeling about him? Do you think Tyrod Taylor's going to steal his job back potentially? Because I don't think that's going to happen, but it may happen for like 1 game because Anthony Lynn's going to feel like an asshole for him getting benched because he got stabbed on accident by a doctor. Shout out to OJ Simpson again. Thank you guys all for watching this video. The glove did not fit, but the glove will fit when you hit that like button because you're getting away with murder by hitting, or actually it's not going to fit because you're going to get away with murder by clicking that subscribe button because you're going to win your league. You're going to murder your league mates, murder them, bury them in the backyard. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Sporter.site, Tyler Moss NFL on Twitter. Have a great rest of your guys' day. OverlayDFS.com as well. See you motherfuckers later with another banger of a video. Again, me and Tyler will be back normally Thursdays, but there's no Thursday games, so we'll be back on Sunday live streaming, talking about the games, talking about your guys' start sits. We had a pretty good, we were actually pretty accurate last week, so make sure you guys check that out. Again, we're always accurate, though, 100%. Bang, bang. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Steph Curry from 3. Bang!